Hi class, welcome to our weekly chat. Welcome to the summer version. I apologize for any and all interruptions that may occur between now and the end of our chat time in July. This is the first day that my preschoolers are out of school, and soon all my kids will be out of school. So you may see one or two angry children. Let's see if we can get through this without that. So I want to apologize. Last week we didn't have a weekly chat. We just had the video that talked specifically about the DARE assignment. When I went to think about what we needed to talk about last week, the DARE assignment covered it. And so I didn't feel that we needed another video. But this week we have some stuff to chat about because this week we are getting ready to submit those lit reviews. I am sure that you are all deep in the literature right now, and that is exciting. It's exciting. I hope that you find it exciting. So the first thing I want to tell you, because I know that there is some panic regarding the lit reviews, is that for all the major group assignments, I offer you the opportunity to pre-grade your assignment. So what does that mean? It means that if you submit it to me via email, by a certain point in time, I will go through your assignment and mark sections that need to be fixed and changed, ask questions, things like that. You are not required to participate in this pre-grading opportunity. You are never required. This doesn't give you extra credit. It is just a helpful service that I like to provide. And the reason is that we can work a lot of those bugs out in advance of the due date if we do this pre-grading thing. So I will go through it, and you will think that I am harsh, and I apologize in advance for that, but this is how we get better. And if we can fix all of those things before you turn it in, then the paper that you submit gets a grade that is that much higher. So just keep that in mind if you decide to do the pre-grading. So if you decide to do the pre-grade for the lit review assignment, it needs to be emailed to me no later than Monday, May 20th. I believe Monday is the 20th at 5 p.m. Any assignments sent to me after that for pre-grading will not receive a pre-grade because I need a certain amount of time to get you that feedback. The feedback that you get is usually fairly extensive, and I need the time to do that, and you need the time to take that feedback and make corrections to the paper. So that's why. If you want to participate in the lit review early feedback, it is due to me via email no later than Monday, May 20th at 5 p.m. So you need to send that to me as a Google Doc. Invite me to edit the document so that I can make suggestions and comments right on it. You want to make sure that you send it so that I can edit the document so we don't have this back and forth of, I can't access the document, please let me access the document, things like that. Make sure that you send it so that I can edit it. And please make sure that if you do choose to participate in this, that the draft you submit is awesome. I would say as close to final draft as you can make it. And the reason for that is the feedback is much more useful to you if it's helping you polish and tweak things as opposed to saying, you've missed the entire point of this assignment. You need to start from square one. So the feedback is better, more constructive if you have a more polished draft. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for perfect. I am looking for a completed draft if you can make that happen, and something that your group members have read through and that you think is in a pretty good spot to submit it. The groups that participate in this tend to get a significantly higher grade. You don't get 100% just because you participated in this, but a lot of those bugs are worked out. So if you're worried about your grade, this is a really good way to go. We will do the pre-submit for the lit review, the method section, the survey, the results, and then the final paper at the end of the semester. I'm happy to go through all of those. I will look at it one time. So I will look at your lit review one time, your method section one time, etc. You can't make a few changes and send it back and go back and forth. There's not enough time. There's too many students. But this pre-grade is a really good opportunity for you to receive some early feedback. So let's talk about the lit review. First off, I just want to throw this out there. I know it was sent in an email, but in order to complete this lit review, you will need to read more than 10 sources. You just have to. You're not going to find 10 awesome sources that can be used. You're probably going to have to read, as a group, close to 20, maybe 25 sources. And then you will select the best 10. I know, it's a bummer, but that's how it works. So please, 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 please make sure those sources you include are relevant. It's not super helpful to you to include sources that are kind of related but not really, and you really have to work to squish them. And don't do that. Just find good ones. So I know as I'm saying this, you're thinking, are you kidding me? I thought it was a lot when I had to read 10 sources. Now you want me to read 25 sources? What are you thinking? First of all, that 25 number is not set in stone. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe your first 10 sources are amazing. But as you are looking to decide, is this article good or not? What you need to do is first read the abstract of the article. If you read the abstract and you think, yeah, this could work, then I want you to hop on down to that discussion section. It's either going to be listed as discussion or conclusion in those articles. And then I want you to read the discussion section. The discussion section, as we'll discuss later in the semester, is the so what. This is where it pulls from their study and from previous research and meshes it all together and gives you the implication of their study. So this section is important. Okay, first you're reading the abstract. The abstract's awesome. Skip on down to the discussion section. The discussion section is awesome. Then go through and read the rest of the paper. This will help cut down on the amount of time you spend reading and make sure that your focus is on the important things. The discussion section includes the takeaway. You do need to read that abstract so you know if you want to spend your time on the discussion section, but look at it. Read those discussion sections before you read the rest of the article. The discussion section is going to pull from all other sections of the article, and it's somewhat of a summary, but not quite. So please be smart about how you spend your time. Remember, the lit review is not a summary of the information that you found. This is your opportunity to analyze previous research. So you might pull something from one article, something from another article, on the same topic, and melt it into one paragraph. That is what I want you to do. I don't want you to go through and summarize and say, in a study conducted in 2014 where 5,612 people were selected, however, I don't need those minute details. You need to read the information, synthesize it, and pick out the most important parts. And part of the lit review is you are looking at how source A meshes with source C. You need to see what are the similarities and differences between those studies and their findings, and how does that relate to the broader topic that you're looking at. So please take the opportunity to take a step beyond. I am expecting that each paragraph has more than one source in it because I want you to be analyzing between those different sources. So please do that. I know that you can. I know that we can go a step beyond simple summarization. We can do this. Okay, important on the lit review, and really all papers, but the lit review is going to be the largest section that you write for a while. You need to make sure that this sounds like one person wrote it. And I know that we've talked about this in previous videos, but the best way to do that is to read it out loud. Read it out loud, elect someone as chief editor, and have them make those transitions between paragraphs. Remember that the rubric does have a section that asks if there are transitions between paragraphs. So please make sure there are transitions between paragraphs so you can receive full credit on that section of the rubric. APA formatting is required in this class. That means you need to have in-text citations and a references section. If it is something that is not a commonly held fact, like the sky is blue, or there are 7 days in a week, then you must have a citation. If you go several sentences and you're talking about the same source, you can put the citation at the end of that little section. You don't need a citation at the end of every sentence. But you do need citations. You do not need footnotes. You need citations. This has to be done in APA format. It is part of the rubric. So no MLA, no AMA, no Chicago, no Turabian, none of that. We use APA in public health. Please make sure that you use APA in public health. Please also keep in mind as you're using quotes that we use direct quotes sparingly. The most important thing you can do is to explain things in your own words. So direct quotes, use them only when you cannot say it better. Typically, you can say it better and you can say it shorter. And because space is an issue, in this class, you need to make sure that you are using that space wisely. All of the papers are going to be run through Turnitin.com, meaning if you plagiarize, I will know. If you forget to cite something and use a direct quote, that is considered plagiarism. We will have some issues with that. So please be careful as you do that, because it's going to be turned to Turnitin.com. As you're going through these papers, also pay attention to the language they use. They don't use personal pronouns, so you don't use personal pronouns. And keep in mind that most of these journal articles that you're reading are going to be between 5 and 10 pages, usually closer to the 5 side. Your final paper for this class is 6 pages. Look at how much information they're able to cram into 6 pages. Granted, there's a 6 pages single space with 2 columns, but you can do this. I promise. You can do it. Remember, we're going to be concise. Just unlike this video, we're going to be concise in our final paper. Okay, let's move on to the research questions. So the research questions get less attention than the lit review because they are shorter, but they are equally, if not more, important. The lit review is going to give you the background you need to understand your topic and to move forward with the method section and then with the survey creation. But the research question is really the research questions are really what's going to guide your research this semester. Typically, students have 3 to 5 research questions. Often they'll have one big umbrella question and then smaller questions that go underneath. The research questions guide all of your research, meaning that those survey results that you are collecting is what you are going to use to answer these research questions. Everything you do is so that you can answer those research questions. So we need to make sure they're good. When researchers are doing large-scale research projects, they will take months to revise these research questions. We have just a few days. So when you get comments on your research questions that say you need to make revisions, don't feel bad. Revisions are a thing in research. I expect that there will be revisions. However, I want you to give it your best shot from the beginning. Remember that research questions need to be specific and measurable. So what does that mean? Specific refers often to who you will be looking at, and measurable is something that you can measure. So you cannot measure, for example, if people lose weight when they participate in a certain diet. You're not going to be able to do a pre and post test. You're not going to be able to ask people about their weight, but you can ask about their perceptions. So this class is all about, we're looking at their perception or their awareness. For example, if you wanted to know if a certain diet helped people lose weight, you could ask, how do people, insert group here, perceive the success of diet, whatever, on weight loss? A good example of a specific and measurable question would be, to what extent are BYU Idaho students aware of the symptoms associated with RSV? We can easily measure that. We talk to BYU Idaho students, we ask them about the symptoms of RSV, and we see how many of them are able to match with the correct answers. That is something that we can answer given the limitations put on us in this class. So keep that in mind. 3 to 5 research questions. Think this through. It's not a 15 minutes assignment. You need to spend 30 minutes to an hour on this as a group with the expectation that it will be revised. I have a tool I will be sending you once those research questions are sent out that will help keep you on track as far as your research questions go. So I'll send it along with the video once those research questions are submitted, but it will basically give you a place to put the research question, then how you're going to answer the research question, and then the survey questions associated with that research question, and then the results associated with that research question, and then the discussion piece. And then basically you can take that spreadsheet and turn it into your final paper. But you don't need that tool quite yet. Just know the research questions are very important. Specific, measurable. Start thinking about who you are going to survey. Are you going to survey BYU Idaho students and request a sample from the IRB? Are you going to Are you going to survey people using social media services? There are other ways to survey people. You can do a pen and pencil survey. I highly recommend against that, because then you have to go through and enter all that data, and data entry is not fun, and it can lead to some issues with the data entry. So start thinking about those things as you're looking at these research questions. As always, let me know if you have any questions. And again, I am happy to pre-grade those lit reviews for you. I'm happy to do it for the research questions as well. As long as they are submitted to me via email in a Google Doc with the ability to edit it no later than Monday, May 20th at 5 p.m. Let me know if you have any questions this week, and have a great weekend.